The CX-5 is Mazda's best-selling vehicle, and there's a lot riding on it with a full redesign for 2026. Does it have what it takes to compete with heavy hitters like the Toyota RAV4 and the Honda CR-V? We'll take a look at some of the major changes that come with this 2026 CX-5 redesign today on Cars Considered. The CX-5 came out in 2012 as a 2013 model year, and it always positioned itself as something that was a bit more engaging to drive, a little more geared towards the enthusiast who needed a small SUV and maybe something a bit more practical than a typical sports car or sports sedan daily driver. That means that the CX-5 would bring things like a bit tighter steering and better handling to the table as compared to some of its rivals. The small SUV segment is one of the most competitive auto segments here in the United States, and a lot of the competitors to the CX-5 offer hybrids. The RAV4, the CR-V, the Tucson, the Forester, just to name a few. The CX-5 comes out for 2026 without a hybrid powertrain and continues to rely on its 2.5-liter inline four-cylinder producing 187 horsepower. Mazda says a hybrid powertrain will come to the CX-5 in 2027, just not at launch, and unlike its CX-50 sibling, it will utilize a powertrain developed entirely in-house by Mazda. Overall, the look of the 2026 CX-5 is very similar to the previous model that it replaces, as you could see from its general styling, body lines, and overall profile. It is, however, 4.5 inches longer, which leads to greater room in the rear seats, especially for adult passengers, as well as more cargo space in the trunk. On the interior, the traditional gauge cluster has been replaced with a fully digital gauge cluster, which is pretty common across the industry. That change finally makes its way to the CX-5 here in 2026. Perhaps the biggest interior change is that the rotary knob style infotainment system is gone. We have now instead a fully touchscreen 12.9-inch system, standard on base models, 15.6 on higher trim models. This is a fully touchscreen interface. Even the climate controls and the audio system has gone into the touchscreen as well. Not a fan of climate controls and volume knobs on the touchscreen. I don't really think anybody is, but that's where we are now with the CX-5. I still think, regardless, it's definitely an improvement over the rotary knob system on a previous model, and we have a CX-30 here at home as well, and it is not fun to operate the infotainment system in that car. As I mentioned, the hybrid powertrain will come in 2027. The redesigned model debuts with a carryover 2.5-liter inline four-cylinder, 187 horsepower. Unfortunately, the 2.5-liter turbocharged engine is gone for 2026. That was that model that produced about 250 horsepower. It's available on the Mazda 3. It's available on the Mazda CX-50. But with this redesign, unfortunately, it is no longer available on the Mazda CX-5. Pricing for the 2026 Mazda CX-5 starts at $29,990 before destination, $14,995 for destination, so a base model 2.5S will take you $31,485 to walk out the door at MSRP. If you option to the highest trim, that's the 2.5S Premium Plus, with destination, $40,485. So about a $10,000 or so range from the base trim to the top trim model here. The CX-5 has been a great option in the small SUV segment for many years. And the 2026 redesign brings a slightly larger vehicle, an updated interior and infotainment system, and some minor design changes as well. Unfortunately, the hybrid powertrain will have to wait until 2027, and the enthusiast-driven turbocharged powertrain is gone with this redesign. So, is the 2026 CX-5 the small SUV to buy? It's a hotly competitive segment, and there's a lot of great options out there, so I'd be curious to hear what you think. Please let me know in the comments below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to Cars Considered, and thank you as always for watching.